Hey you guys, what is up? Welcome to a little video on how to make toning up a absolute breeze. Because look, this might offend people, but please listen to what I'm saying before you decide to take offense to this. Is weight loss is simple, so simple. Not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's simple. Where the toning upside is a little bit more complicated. There's a lot more at play when it comes down to toning up. Weight loss is near enough as simple as a calorie deficit. Simple as that. But when it comes to toning up, you want to ideally be eating 5 meals a day. Ideally, you want a good amount of protein coming in. Ideally, you want to be hitting the right exercises, this and that, this and that. So toning up is a lot more complicated when it comes down to weight loss, but I'm not saying one is easier than the other, but I am saying weight loss is simple, not easy. Toning up is a little bit more complicated. So with that being said, let's get this kicked off. Why is that not gone to next now? It has. So we're going to go over a few different approaches. I've chucked in a few bonus ones for you guys, a little bit more than sevens, to make toning up not only just effective, but enjoyable. Because one of the keys, especially when it comes down to toning up, is the fact that you want to make sure it's enjoyable. If it's enjoyable, you're more likely to stick at it. If you stick at it, you're more likely to get results. Because from my point of view, I've been trying to add on muscle for a while now. It is quite a slow and at times a very painful process, but luckily I found ways I enjoy the process, so I could just keep at it, which makes life a little bit more easy. So, bam, 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 you see how slow my laptop is. We want to talk a little bit about fine-tuning your calorie intake. Now, especially if you're coming from the weight loss side, it can feel really, really, really intimidating when someone says we want to up your calories. When someone says we want to get you eating more, because instantly alarm bells go, you don't want to go back to where you were. But when it comes down to toning up, it is very hard, not impossible, but it is very hard to build up muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. So in an ideal world, when it comes down to toning up, you want to be in a little bit of a calorie surplus. If you're not willing to do a calorie surplus, try to aim for about calorie maintenance, if not just a tiny bit below that, okay? Because basically, energy, food, and this is one thing when it comes down to toning up, is try to see food as energy. You need energy to tone up. You need energy to build muscle. It's not about starving yourself when it comes down to the toning upside. It's about finding the right balance between not eating too much and putting on sort of bad weight, putting on fat, but making sure that you're eating enough to make sure that your body has enough energy to build muscle. And not only build muscle, when you go to the gym, when you do your resistance training, you want to make sure your body has enough energy to be able to get the most from that session. So you want to make sure that when you are going into the gym, you are well fueled. When you're going into the gym, you have energy, because all that's going to massively help the toning upside. So I'll probably say, yeah, try to be in a slight surplus. If you're not willing to do that, try to hit at least maintenance. Now, we're going to go over more foundational points of toning up, otherwise known as muscle building. So we're going to talk a little bit about time under tension. It is important to start with, when we're talking about time under tension, that you're not just fucking repping out up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down as quickly as possible. This is not a HIIT style of training. What we want to do in an ideal world, in this video here, you see this with Lauren. Am I going to get a play? Perfect. 3 seconds down, 1 second up. 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, up. So that's a good amount of tempo. She's got a good sort of time under tension on the way down and then explodes back up. So if you're squatting, 3 seconds down, 1 second up. You want to make this a little bit harder? Try 4 seconds down, 2 seconds up. But don't do it just like repping it out as quickly as possible. You want to make sure that you're getting a good amount of time under tension. Now, one of the other foundational points when it comes down to building muscle is volume. You want to make sure that you are getting volume through your muscles. And off the basis of volume, you want to make sure that when you're adding in volume, you're adding in something called progressive overload. So what progressive overload is basically, let's say you squat 100 kilos, 5 reps, bam. Next week, you need to be going in with the attitude is, I'm going to do 100 kilos for 6 reps, or I'm going to do 101 kilos for 5 reps. So each time you go to the gym, you're looking at a little bit more sort of weight going through, a little bit more volume going through the muscles. We will talk a little bit more about the sciencey stuff later on. I'm not going to go too deep into this when it comes down to mechanical breakdown and all that sort of fun stuff. But yeah. So next up, the right moves for the right results. Now, this is where, again, please don't take offense by this. I say weight loss is simple, toning up is a little bit more complicated. Again, simple, not easy. So when it comes down to toning up, you want to make sure, and it comes down to hypertrophy especially, you want to make sure that you are doing the right exercises, you are doing the right movements for what your goal is. So if you want to grow your glutes, there's no point doing push-ups. Target's a complete wrong muscle. As well, it is worth bearing in mind that there are some exercises that aren't necessarily sort of designed, for better use of a word, for toning up. So sort of example here, you can see one of my clients doing kettlebell swings. Kettlebell swings are a great exercise to sort of develop explosive power. It's a great exercise to sort of do within a cardio routine, if you will. But it's not the best when it comes down to hypertrophy. Because, going back to one of the previous points with this video with Lauren, there's not that much time under tension when you're doing a kettlebell swing. So kettlebell swings genuinely are not the best sort of option when it does come down to toning up. You can see on the right, another one of my clients there, Alex. She's doing heel elevated barbell squats. And that's a great exercise when it comes down to toning up, because she's going down nice, slow and controlled, and it's all sort of very controlled. Whereas a kettlebell swing is obviously a little bit more explosive. So another key thing when it comes down to toning up is, sorry, there is a difference between training and exercise. Might sound silly, but to me, when you exercise, you're sort of potentially going to a body pump, you go into a circuits class, you go into something that's just, you're moving. A Zumba class, an F45 class, you're just moving. Whereas when you're training for a very, very specific goal. You're within your training, your exercise is all designed for you to get closer to point A. Whereas exercise, you're going to a legs, bums and tums, where, you know, it's got a very low class ceiling. Get what I did there? Not glass ceiling, class ceiling. God, I'm funny. That's going to be a new ebook coming out as well soon for you guys. If you are interested, drop me a DM. I'll get you on the waiting list. But when it comes down to classes, again, you're just moving for moving's sake. There's no progressive overload, really. There's no, well, some classes do time under tension, but form tends to be a little bit off as well because, and this is not me digging out instructors, you know, they might have 40 people. You can't be looking at the far corner what Sally's doing. She's got poor form with her RDLs and got no time under tension. Do you know what I mean? It's very general when it comes down to exercise. Where training is a lot more specific for what you want to achieve. So it's important that you make sure that everything you do, because let's be honest, training is effort. So I have the attitude, especially with my clients, I want to make sure their training is as effective as possible. Now, another real key important factor for a few different reasons is making sure that your form and your range of motion is on point. There's no point, let's say just here, doing shoulder press because you can see me, going from here to here. This is next to nothing. There's no point going all the way up and just doing little reps there. When you're doing a shoulder press, you want to go down, up, full range of motion, down, up with good technique. So one thing I say about range of motion is within reason, it's a good way to make sure that your technique is good. Because if you're going to have good range of motion within the shoulder press, we're going through the full range of motion. Obviously, there's a few other cool sort of technique points with shoulder press, especially like having your elbow pinched in and all that sort of stuff, so you don't damage your front delt, rotator cuff, sorry. So you don't damage your rotator cuff. So there's a few little sort of form tips on that, but if you tend to have a good range of motion, you tend to be a little bit safer than sort of just fucking ego lifting kind of thing. So we have a little look at my client here. You can see with her lunge, she's dropping her knee right down. So it's not just she's stepping back, she's stepping forward. With the lunge, she step back, she will drop the knee. Watch, step back, knee drops, step back, knee drops. So her form and her range of motion is good there. Now, this is something, I'll be honest, I struggle with, especially when I first started, the importance of rest and recovery. Your body grows when you're resting. Your body grows, not at the gym. At the gym, we break our body down, then we need the body to rest and recover. Rest and recovery is crucial for muscle growth. If you're not sleeping at least 6 hours, to an extent, I'd say getting an extra 2 hours of sleep, potentially going to be a lot more beneficial for you than getting down the gym, because you're going to give your time, you're going to give your muscle a lot more time to recover. If you need a good podcast where I sit down and have a chat with somebody who's far more intelligent about sleep than me, another PT podcast, episode 18, everything on sleep and why it is so important. A good point of sleep is, and rest and recovery, it is that important. However long humans have been on Earth, evolution has taken us a long way. One thing we've not been able to evolve out of is how important sleep is. That is genuinely how important sleep is. Not even evolution cannot get rid of sleep. Now, protein. I'm going to go over why PTs rave about protein so much. Firstly, you can see this little video here. That's one of my protein pizzas. I posted it on the group for my clients. It's got about 80 grams of protein with about 600 calories, 700 calories off the top of my head. I literally half of that, and it's really filling. It's amazing. But protein is your muscle's best friend. It is so important that you get a good amount of protein within your diet, because basically, when it comes down to the toning upside, you eat protein, gets digested in something called amino acids. Amino acids go from your stomach or your gut into the muscles and help rebuild the muscles. You rebuild the muscles, you build muscle, you tone up, you get that look. Now, again, these are where elements of just pure weight loss, toning up, are slightly different. When it comes down to weight loss, calorie deficit, calorie deficit, calorie deficit. But when it comes down to toning up, I want you to aim for at least 5 protein feed-ins a day. Not saying meals, but I am saying protein feed-ins, okay? So that could be whatever it is. When it could be a protein shake, it could be a chicken breast, it could be a meal, it could be spaghetti bolognese, it could be a protein bar, but you want to aim for about 5 protein feed-ins a day to maximize your effort in the gym when it comes down to toning up. Now, another one, and this is where I very openly admit I messed up a lot within my health and fitness, especially when I first started, because I was that guy who was naive, thought, I know better than you, I know better than you, I know better than you. Or bodybuilding.com, PDF plan, Steve Cook did this, Steve Cook looks this way, I'm going to do it, it's going to work for me. No, it's not that simple. You need to have a very clear plan on what will work for you. You need to have a clear plan that fits around your life. You need to have a clear plan to meet you where you are within your health and fitness. There's no point on going on to bodybuilding.com. That's showing my age right now, bodybuilding.com. But there's no point on going onto that website, getting a PDF document of Steve Cook, the one I used to do, Big Man on Campus, 6-day training split, perfect. I can go do that. No, I can't. I'm in university at that point. I'm still in college. I had to go to school. I had to go to lectures. It wasn't as simple as that. I was hungover a lot of the time. So that clear plan could have been good for someone else, could have been good for Steve Cook, wasn't good for me. So it's so important that you have a clear plan that will tell you exactly what you need to be doing. Now, I'm going to show you what I do with my clients. This is a little look on my app. So today they're hypothetically, I've got legs. You can see sort of the leg workout there. I tell my clients exactly what exercise they need to be doing, how many reps, and then as they fill this out, it will give them sort of all of their previous stats, so they know exactly what they need to do, what they need to be lifting, going back to progressive overload, going back to volume, going back to all that sort of fun stuff. They know exactly what they need to be doing within the gym to get the results. Then as they go through, they could just fill out the workout, how many reps that they've done, what the weight is, and all that sort of fun stuff. So every time they go into the gym, they know what they did last time. They get a very, very clear plan that meets them where they are, that meets them at their fitness ability, that meets their calendar. So there's no point giving someone who can go to the gym 2 times a week a push-pull legs, because they're not going to be, getting enough volume through their body to get results. So it's making sure you have that clear plan. So let's just skip forward. It also tells you how many sort of personal bests, and it all has little videos explaining to them exactly what they need to be doing within the gym. So it also gives them that confidence. Do you mean? Because that's where a lot of people struggle with the gym intimidation is they go into the plan, they don't know what they're doing, they don't have a Scooby-Doo, walk into the gym, oh no, everyone's looking at me, that's taken, what the hell do I do? This just helps them go into the gym and know exactly what they're doing. And this is why I call my stuff Body Confidence Challenge. Because to me, it's all about building that confidence. It's all about feeling more empowered. It's being able to go out and do the things you want to do. One of my favorite sayings right now is, my biggest regret, right, would be on my deathbed and I don't do something I want to do because I'm worried about someone's opinion who's not even going to be coming to my funeral. And this is why I talk a lot more about confidence now. This is why I care so much about confidence, because I want people going out. I want people living their lives. So the Body Confidence Challenge is designed to give you all of the tools, resources, and the community. That's one thing I'm massive on, is community. I work off something called the ACE framework: accountability, community, education. But it will give you everything you need to effectively tone up and do it sustainability. To do it sustainably. Sorry. It is a lot more than me just giving you a program saying go do this. It's a lot more than me giving you a meal plan saying go do this. It's about you learning how to do this in a sustainable way. If you do want more details on the challenge, feel free to give me a shout. Anyway, that is that. Any questions or anything, my messages are always open. I am Jordan Lambert. Best way to get me on Instagram. By the way, it is I am Jordan Lambert. That's my tag. Anyway, have a good one, guys. And yeah, take care. Bye.